Hi, good happy Monday. Can it be a happy Monday though? I'm kind of happy to be here in my lab, so yeah. I guess it's a happy Monday. So I've been working on the weekend because, as I told you last time, I have a show coming up in Philadelphia in November, so we've been packing and I'm like knackered because of that, but I've been working on the flowers you've been seeing, and I'll continue to do that at the like hammering and what's it called? Punching. Sorry, I'm tired, I told you. And usually at this point I'm wearing my apron, but 5 minutes ago, before I started this live, I took it off for a moment and I broke it. So today I'm not going to wear it because I have to sew a button back because I just broke it 5 minutes ago. So yeah, sorry. Well, not sorry. It's just that I'm going to get like gold dust over me, and that's not going to be very useful. Actually, I already did the hammering. I need to make it hot again. I'm sorry you can't see it. I'm gonna try and put camera here as well. But then I have 5 cameras. I don't know how to sort them, all of that. So anyway, so this weekend I also been doing an application for a prize. It's a Bogosian, it's called. It's a jewelry. It's a very like high-end jewelry company, and they also have a foundation, and they had a prize for both artists and jewelry artists alike. So I applied for that prize. It's a very, very long shot, but I mean, if you don't apply, you're never going to win. So yeah, it's free to apply, it just takes a bit of time. So I've been doing that, and while I was doing that and I had time to think about my art and what it means to me and why it's important for me and what are the themes that my art like delves into, I realized that compared to like normal I don't know if normal is the right word, but normal high jewelry, my stuff is so imperfect. It's so incredibly imperfect. And it's part of my philosophy. I mean, I want it to be imperfect. I've been trained as a traditional goldsmith. I'm just waiting for my gold to get a bit less hot. So that's why I'm treating without doing anything. But so I've been trained as a traditional goldsmith in Florence for about 3 years, and I've been trained to be perfect. So I'm not saying that I am perfect. I don't think I am. Oops, sorry. But I've been trained to be perfect, and the idea is to make something, you know, as geometric and as perfect as possible. And honestly, in 2024, I find it really boring. And it's not because I can't achieve it. It's just because the computer can achieve it much better and much more easily than I can. So getting something perfect in jewelry, you can just use CAD. It's not easy to use a CAD program and have like good projects of jewelry. I'm not saying that. I think it's harder to do them by hand, honestly, but it's also difficult to do them on CAD. You need to have a lot of skills, but it's gonna be geometrically perfect, and it's gonna have that look. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I think it's just so different when something's made by hand or something's made by a machine. You can just feel it, you know. One, it's soft and has movement and is imperfect and has, I don't know, it has a kind of humanity in a way, I think, while the other one is perfect. And I've been told that I know that I can improve in many things, and I've been told that in some things I should try to have more juxtaposition between something that's more like traditional and perfect and something that's more unperfect, so that I can demonstrate that I can actually be perfect, which, I mean, it's fine. It's a fair comment, I think. But I also found it so boring, and spending like a lot of time into making, oh god, this is hard, into making something perfect. I don't know if it's worth my time. I don't know. What do you think? If you care about it, if you see the difference, you don't need to. It can be something that's just important for me. Doesn't need to be important for anybody else, honestly. But I just think that everything that's perfect is just so boring. And I love basically everything that's handmade. I mean, there are things that are handmade that are badly made. There are a lot of that. And there are things that are machine made that are badly made as well. So I'm not talking about quality here. I'm talking about an aesthetic, a purely aesthetic thing. So yeah, we're talking about same quality. I don't want to delve into that. I mean, I can go on for ages about it. Just as I can go on, this is so hard. Just like I can go on for ages talking about like sustainability and how or why I use sustainable, if we can call mining sustainable, but responsible, let's say, materials and all of that. It's one of those things where I can just, yeah. Machine versus handmade is one of those topics where I have very strong opinions, let's say, but I don't think most people care about them. Nor they should, because it's something that's very much in the trade. And also, like, for things that I don't really care about, like cars, for example. I mean, I do think that old cars, like cars from the 60s and 70s, even 80s, some of them, my father really loves cars, are really beautiful, and they have a much nicer aesthetic, and they are much less plasticky, and, you know, I want to say fake. I don't know if you get what I mean, but you know, I think you know what I mean. But still, I wouldn't, like, I know that the Pagani has bits that are handmade. I think maybe I'm saying like bullshit. Maybe I'm talking bullshit. Could be. This is just so hard. I need to heat it up again. But what was I trying to say is just that even like in cars, where I don't really care about the manufacturing process because I don't care about the end product, then I don't care. I can see the difference, but I don't have strong opinions about it because it's not my place of expertise, let's say. So yeah. Now I'm waiting for my microflame to heat up. I should always just keep it up, but I'm not using it very much today, so that's why I'm waiting for it to get to temperature so I can heat these up again. This 9-karat gold is really, really hard. Next time I'm going to do an alloy in 9-karat gold, I'm going to put a bit more gold, a bit more, not gold, a bit more silver in it, so it becomes a bit softer. But if you put a bit more silver, then it becomes a bit greener. So, you know, you have to be careful with colours and stuff like that, because they do change alloys. The amount of gold or silver that you put in changes an alloy. Actually, I was researching stuff some time ago, and I heard about this black gold alloy, which is actually just like 5% gold is 95% copper, and it's 5% gold, and it should get this very black patina, and it's Japanese, obviously, because they have such an incredible culture of patinas and oxidations. So I really want to try that, so I will in a while. I could actually, I don't know, I was going to say that I could try for this flower, but trying something new for a piece that I have to sell, it's a bit tricky. Anyway, this is the other flower bin. This is the other flower. As you can see now, it has holes. Can you see it? Sorry. I'm going to move a little bit this, because otherwise you can't see my hands at all. I think that's better. Yeah. So this flower, as you can see now, has holes, and they look quite horrible, but I don't care, because I've been putting this flower in, you can see that they fit. Sorry, now it's wobbling. It will stop it, I promise. Okay, better. Now they are fitting. Sorry, I have to find the right point. There is only one point where they fit. And there it is, yeah. So now it's fitting quite well. There still is a bit of air. I don't know if you can see it from there. I don't know. But there still is a bit of air in the middle, so I would like it to be, to go a bit lower down still. But the lower down I go, the more points touch and the harder it is. So when I began, only these 2 points were touching, so it was quite, it was not easy, but easier to find the right spot. So this is what it will look like. But now as I go, as I push it down, more points are going to touch and it's going to, yeah, be harder. But this is where I want the other flower to end up. And then I'm going to laser them together. And hopefully tomorrow I'll start with the brass one. If I manage to finish this one between today and... Oh, not tomorrow, sorry. Tomorrow I'm not going to be here. Haha. Tomorrow I'm not going to work. So tomorrow there's not going to be any kind of live. I'm going to have my camera with me. I hope it's going to be a good experience. But tomorrow I'm going to go to Milan because I've been nominated. Well, I've been nominated as one of the finalists for the Louis Vuitton Mestieri d'Eccellenza prize, which is a prize for only like artisans in Italy. They have also one in France, but this one was for artisans in Italy. And because I own a company and I've been doing, I opened my company. I haven't been doing this for less than 5 years. But I own a company. It was founded in 2021, so it's the 3rd year now. And so I've been nominated as an emerging master. And we'll find out tomorrow if we won, which would be amazing, but I really doubt it. And this is not being like scaramantic or anything. It's just that I think because one of the prizes, so if we win, we get 10,000 euros, which is great. And then we get mentorship from Loro Piana, which is one of the maisons of Louis Vuitton, and they do mostly like cashmere and sweaters, all of that, like very high-end beige kind of clothing, very, very classic kind of clothing. And I do think that there are 2 women, one that does like macrame, which is a kind of like lace work, and she does some kind of, I think one of her installations, I don't know if we can call it that, but anyway, one of her pieces was a cell, like a representation of a lung cell attacked by COVID, and she did all the like the cell itself and all the like COVID viruses with lace work. And she's the other finalist, and the 3rd finalist is a woman named Jules. I don't remember her surname, sorry. And she does carpets. And seeing all of their work, I just think that this Jules does work that aligns much more with Loro Piana compared to what I do. I think what I do, honestly, is a bit too edgy. But maybe it's not, and I'll win. I'll be happy about it. I mean, I would be absolutely thrilled about it, but I doubt it, honestly. Again, it's not because I think my work is not worth it. I absolutely do think it's worth it. And the piece that I gave to them, which they still have, is a flower wreath or a flower crown. I will sometime upload the process of making that, which took like 500 hours. I know. But when I get like obsessed with a piece, then I really put my time into it. It took me like 3 years, but because I had no deadline, so I would work on it when I had some free time. So yeah, that didn't help being quicker. So this is the second flower. I obviously need to like move all the petals because it doesn't fit now, but yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Anyway, so tomorrow I'll be in Milan all day. We'll be in Milan. Marco and I will be in Milan all day, and tomorrow at 9 we'll find out if we have won or not. And yeah, so it won't go live tomorrow, but hopefully we'll like film it, and hopefully we'll have something nice to share. I don't know if I'll share it if I don't win, honestly. Maybe I will. If it's a great experience, I will. If it isn't, I won't. But you know, this is a nice thing of having your own channel. You can put whatever you want in it. Nobody's gonna tell me what I have or don't, or what I should or shouldn't put up. So until I'm respectful, at least, of everyone. But anyway, this is so hard. My hands are hurting like so much, and it's not liking me. I strained it a little bit, so the metal is not liking me at the moment. This should go, I thought it was going to go there, but should go a bit higher up. But I will sort it out once I actually like work on it a bit more. So now I'm going to hammer it a bit, and then heat it up a bit, and then work on it a bit more. Yay! So anyway, like as you can see, all my stuff is very far from perfect, and I think many people use it as an excuse to not learn properly. And I'm not going to say sometimes I don't feel like that. I do, because sometimes like polishing stuff is extremely boring. I hate it. It's not true, I don't hate it, but it is quite boring. It is quite boring. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't do this while I'm live, just because you're going to hear like so many sounds. But yeah. It's just that, you know, I don't know, my vision, what I see for my jewels is not perfect. I just really don't care about perfect. I think it just looks boring. But I do think that striving for something perfect can be useful, because you're going to learn like so much trying to be perfect, trying to be like a machine. But then I think you need to have the courage and the willingness to not be perfect, and understand that sometimes you need to be perfect, like when you're doing clasps or hinges, stuff like that. If something opens in the wrong way or in the wrong direction, then it's going to consume in a different way. It's not going to open well. Some bits are going to be more fragile, and it's just not going to work. Then the quality is not going to be as good, and that's a problem, obviously. But if you're talking about something that's artistic and free, it doesn't have like a structural purpose, then I think it's more courageous to be unperfect, because I think being perfect is the easier route, I think, in this case, because you know when something's good. If you mosquitoes here now. If you measure it and it's like the right size, then it means that it's perfect. And that gives us the possibility to like suspend our judgment. So instead of deciding if it's perfect or not with our eyes, we let a ruler decide it. So I think that's the problem here. You know, that instead of looking at something and saying, do I like that? Don't I like that? What's wrong with it? Is it working? How are the proportions? You know, all of that. We're like, oh, this is two, it's in the middle, it's great. And sometimes it isn't, you know. Sometimes it just isn't. Sometimes you need to look at it and let your eyes decide. But that's I think that's harder. That's just harder than having a table that tells you when stuff it's done, when stuff it's perfect, and when it's ready to, be sold, when it's ready to go to the next level, all of that. And so I really try to find a balance in my work between things that I know need to be perfect, like I said, like hinges and stuff that really, that the quality of my pieces depend on it, and those have to be absolutely perfect, because otherwise, if like a clasp opens, you're gonna lose a jewel. Really don't want that. So we need that, but otherwise, I hate perfect. Like one of the jewelers I really like, she's called Laura Nicole. She works with, I think 22 karat gold, which is a wonderfully like saturated yellow color. It's amazing. And she does all the chains by hand. And she makes the clasps. They're not, the ones that I saw, I haven't seen all of the jewels, but the ones that I saw are not very like complex clasps. They're like S clasps, something like that, that just, works very simply. But you can feel like all her chains are handmade, which is something very rare these days because nobody makes chains. I mean, like I did them for my earrings, but I haven't made a chain, like a necklace. I have one in the pipeline for a client. She would like a big necklace with a chain, a very simple chain. We are deciding on the design, but it's a chain. Actually, you would be surprised knowing how many styles of chains exist. It's such a huge world, it becomes overwhelming so easily. So yeah, I'm doing a chain for her, but I think handmade chains are something that we completely forgot about, because there are machines that are making them for so cheap, and doing them handmade is really expensive because it's very labor intensive, and you have to create the links, and sometimes you need to solder the rings, and then you have to cut the rings, the links, and then you have to solder the links again, and then you have to polish them. It's just very time consuming. And this artist is called, again, Laura Nicole. She does all the chains by hand, and I think they're absolutely lovely. They're extremely expensive because it's very, very, very labor intensive, but and also they're quite weighty. So it's 22 karat gold. Gold is very expensive at the moment, so yeah. But it's, I don't know, I think it's like super worth it. I would buy one of her chains, honestly. I would. I mean, I would make it myself for me before spending that amount of money on somebody else's jewels that I can make for myself. But if I wasn't capable of doing it and I had that disposable income, I would buy them. I think they're very beautiful. Sorry for all these ifs. So, can you, you can't see if I put it here. Anyway, I wanted to show you where I was at, but I can't really because I'm using this side up. I could change it, but that's not the way it works, so no point in doing that. So I'm again filing these petals. Once I finish this flower, I'm gonna find its position with this other flower, and then I'm gonna give them a slight solder so they stick together. Then I'm gonna do the brass and the copper, and then I'm gonna decide where I'm gonna put the gemstones. Since these flowers are very, very light, and the width is really small because I didn't want them to be too heavy, then I'll have to either use a tube, create a tube and do a small hole through the petals so that I can put diamonds in, because this metal is literally too thin to keep the diamonds in. Probably I could put 1 millimeter diamonds in. I think I could do that, but not much more than that. And I wouldn't want diamonds to fall off from behind. That wouldn't be nice. So as I said in my other lives, the idea behind this is linked to aging. So the center is just represents youth, and it's perfect, and it's an 18-karat gold, and it's going to have white diamonds, and then you're going to have 9-karat gold which is less, it's considered less valuable, and it's going to have champagne diamonds, again considered less valuable, not all of them honestly, but generally considered less valuable than like perfectly white ones. And then we're going to have the brass, which is considered a lot less valuable, and I'm going to have colored gemstones, and then we're going to have copper, which is going to be also all oxidized, which is even less worth even less than brass, and it's going to have even more colored gemstones, and those are going to be a bit bigger. I haven't yet decided on the gemstones, just because I want to see the dimension of the flower. I'm letting my hands really get a good look at this before I start buying the gemstones, because yeah, I know that I should plan better, but again, perfect is boring. So why should I make it perfect? I'm joking. I just want to see, like, for example, if I use this as an example, this goes here. So I don't want, because the variables are so different, because it depends on how I create the actual flower, the space that I have left around it to put diamonds and gemstones is not a lot. Like in this case, the petal's going to become bigger and the whole flower is going to be about this big. I want to do like a huge earring, but a lot of it's going to be it's going to be like behind the flower in front of it. And also I want to decide if I want to like properly solder it with solder, or if I want to solder it with my laser machine. Because if I solder it with my laser machine, then I can also put gemstones underneath, and they can be like seen only when you rotate it, when you move it. But then, I mean, if I use diamonds, I could still solder it, but if I use other kind of gemstones, colored gemstones especially, that can become a bit tricky, so I need to decide that as well. And I want to see the volumes. The first thing that I always do is that I check the volumes and see how they work together, and then I go on from there. So that's just how I work. Doesn't mean that other people should work in that way. Doesn't mean that's the right way to work. It's just how I personally work. So yeah, that's just me. That's just me, and I'm the person who thinks that being perfect. It's so funny coming from me. I mean, you don't know me really, but I was, so in Italy, in the university system, you can decide to retake an exam if the score is not the one you wanted. So exams are scored in 30s, and to pass you have to get 18 out of 30, and then you can get anything from 18 to 30 and you pass the exam. And until my last exams, where I was absolutely like, I just wanted to leave, I couldn't take it anymore, but until then I like retook not many, but at least 2 or 3 exams, just because I didn't get like full marks, because I thought that was like the only way of doing it. And now I'm here advocating for not being perfect, because being perfect is boring. So if I could like just reach myself, my like seven years ago self, I would tell me, like, please stop it, stop being ridiculous, stop being idiotic, it doesn't mean anything, you don't need to be perfect, it's useless to be perfect, and it's boring to be perfect. But yeah, I wasn't like that. And also I think the 3 years that I was at the school, I didn't think about jewelry this way, because I thought it had to be perfect again. But then when you get to know a bit more about like what's really important for the quality and what's just aesthetic, I think you get a lot more freedom, and that's just wonderful to get that kind of artistic freedom, which I do think that it's something that you need to work for, because you need to know if something is like gonna have an impact on quality or not. I think that's very important. But other than that, I just love being able to experiment to experiment and give myself permission to not be perfect. I think I'll never ever do like 2 pair of completely identical earrings. So boring. So boring. They need to have a bit of personality, you know. You can see that one's different from the other. Usually I also use like mismatched mismatched gemstones. Like I did a pair of earrings that had a sapphire in the middle, and I used one that was green and the other one that was like orangey color, like burnt sienna, that kind of color. And I did the earrings, the ones with the pearls that I showed you last time. Those have one an emerald cut diamond, and the other one has a round diamond. So they are different. Yeah, I think it's much better. They just look so... I mean, I'm not the first one, obviously, who has done this. That's quite obvious. It wasn't me. I'm just a really strong advocate for it. So there's other flowers coming along quite nicely. You can see how now it fits so much better than it did before I started this live. It didn't fit when I started this live, so now it looks so much better. I've been working a bit on the behind more than on the front, because I wanted to take away all these horrible like straight lines, which I don't like. So but I don't know, is it a very superficial point of view of mine to think that I shouldn't need to be perfect? I don't know, it could be, but I don't care. I'm never gonna go down that route again in my life, I think. Never, ever. It's just too much to achieve nothing. Actually, it's too much to achieve something that is boring. And isn't that the worst? I mean, my idea on art, and we can talk about it a bit more, maybe I'll do it on Wednesday. What's my idea of art? But to sum it up, it's that it has to give you a kind of emotion. And I think that like 3D printed stuff is so cold, it's so alien, it doesn't have any kind of emotion, and that's why I don't like it. I don't use it. It's just personal preference, but that's my take on it. So even if it's handmade but is so perfect that it looks like it was made by CAD, I mean, what's the point? But that's only my opinion. Doesn't have to be the same for everyone or for anyone. Anyway, now that's looking quite well. I'm gonna heat it up again and then give it a bit of a hammer, I think, just so that centers align a bit better, because they're not like perfectly aligned at the moment. No, actually I'm gonna file this one a bit more before that. Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna get something to drink because I'm parched, and I'll see you on Wednesday. I hope that I'll be happier on Wednesday than I am today, but if not, I'm gonna be really grateful that they selected me and that I mean, my face was on Vogue Italia, which had never happened before, at least not without like paying for it. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. So yeah, hopefully somebody liked my tiara and they saw how beautiful it is. And as soon as I get it back, I will show it, because I'm like incredibly proud of it. And I finished it so quickly because I wanted to give it to them, and they needed it for the judges to see it and to take pictures and all of that. So I just had to like finish it very quickly, and I haven't shown it to anyone. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm gonna quickly like give a quick splash to my hands. I should buy a proper place where to wash my hands. It's expensive and I've been using money for other things, but I promise I will. So now that my hands are clean, I can say bye.